too.
Visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside ESPN's John Anderson, here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
And a special John Anderson Homer Hour. That will include Rainman at the beginning. I normally do it on Wednesday, but I cannot play tomorrow. I'm playing in the Am-Fam Golf Tournament in the Pro-Am, where in the most important thing that's ever occurred in that tournament, I will let the professor decide, save the life of one John Daly. So I'm playing in the group with him, and it was fabulous. Yep. Par 5, and he can be no more than 15 yards straight ahead of me in the direction I'm going to hit the ball. I said, John, can you move? He puts his arms out to his side and says, just hit me in the effing head. End it right now. All right. You're the professor. What am I supposed to do?
Well, I don't know what kind of liability there is, right? You know,
there would have been. Yeah, I didn't tape it. What I did was
I would not have. I
did not hit. I didn't. I said, John, I'm not going to hit. He repeated it exactly, including the F word, as he said the first time. And I thought, okay, I hit it. I didn't hit him. He's alive only because I missed him. And I feel that, while no one knows about it except those that are listening and you, could have been the most famous event in the history of that tournament. Wouldn't it have been if I'd have hit him right in the head? And I would have had, I think there was somebody close enough to have heard what he said one of the two times. So he would have had a defense, right? If the guy says, just go ahead, hit me, end my effing life right here. That's a pretty good defense, don't you think? Or not, Professor?
Well, I don't know what the assisted suicide laws are in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where it is, and I don't feel like you saved his life as much as you didn't kill him, which is good because homicide.
Yeah, hold on.
Great.
As usual, you make it better. I have to say that I didn't kill him.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that
I didn't save his life.
Yeah, you just didn't kill him.
Didn't kill him. All right.
Which is good. That's fine.
So because I'm doing that, we have to do Rainman, and I thought maybe as I do it with a contestant, you could write some answers down to see how you would do. Are you okay with that? We have 15 questions, 2 minutes.
I'm willing to play.
All right. I appreciate because we only have a few weeks left until it's over. It ends in the end of June. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. And you will get a chance to win Cousin Subs for a year. You automatically win Cousin Subs gift certificate of $25. They're such a great partner, Cousin Subs. 1-800-990-3776. And, of course, our other partner is Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and been doing it well for over 50 years. That's why they're so good. I was kind of hoping it would apply to my career, but I don't think it has to the same degree.
I have a John Daly story, but it's not as good as yours, which is just, it's a shame.
It was a blast to play with. As long as you play fast, he doesn't care.
God bless him there.
Yes, You bet. So, Saganiac Planning, named synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, doing it well for over 50 years. Phone number to remember, just remember 783-262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
1-800-990-3776. Do we have a caller number 5 yet?
We do not.
We do not. All right. That's out of, I think, respect for John Anderson. 1-800-990-3776. Because I have something very important for you to do and work on. And it's come up again with Jordan Love. And the debate on whether he had, a rollback or didn't.
Took a step back.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should know, and you, of course, as everybody know, worked many years at ESPN, And for whatever reason, they decided at some point to come up with a new quarterback rating. The quarterback rating has existed forever, and they came up with another one, which they, I guess, thought was better, called QBR.
Yep.
I've wanted to have someone debate the plus and minuses of both. I have difficulty with the QBR only because in certain games, it makes no sense. For example, last year, in the game at the end of the year, Minnesota against the Packers. Packers lose 27-25. All right, quarterback rating, Sam Darnold, 116 to Jordan Love, 91. Made sense. Darnold was 13 of 43 for 377 yards, and Jordan Love was 19 for 30, 185 yards. Darnold had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, and Jordan Love had no 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Again, all right, 116 to 91. That's quarterback rating, the old one. The ESPN one, QBR, had Jordan Love at 79.8. Or excuse me, the QBR had Sam Darnold at 79.8 and Jordan Love at 82.7. It had Jordan Love rated ahead of Sam Darnold when he threw for 185 yards versus 377. So that, to me, said this stat sucks. Because I don't know how anybody could have watched that game or how any stat could say that Jordan Love played better than Sam Darnold. So, given your background at ESPN, I thought you'd be the perfect person, professor, smart, maybe someone could do a PhD on it, because I'm willing to accept the fact that maybe QBR is a little bit better, but not when things like that occur.
Well, you could say that with any statistic, you will find anomalies in there once in a while.
Right.
So the guy who helped invent QBR really went to it was a guy named Jeff Bennett, who used to be my neighbor and our head of analytics there, right? Jeff is no longer with the company, but he was great. And the idea being, and I would argue this with him,
okay,
he would tell you that not all touchdown passes are created equal. I would tell you they are, right? He would give Favre's pass to Kittrick Taylor for the touchdown against the Bengals is worth more than somebody throwing one in the first quarter. I would argue if you don't throw the one in the first quarter, you never get to the one in the fourth quarter, right? Like I think that all touchdowns are touchdowns. They are worth the same amount of points. And so the idea that we have manufactured in clutch time in there in some way, shape, or form, or last 2 minutes and that part of it, and then they take into account actual things you do beyond that, right? If you are
I always felt if you were a good runner, you would get some benefits from QBR.
Right. So if you run, you get that. There's instead now all incompletions likewise are judged equally under the old system. In the QBR, if you flip it out of bounds because you're just trying to preserve it down, then it doesn't take off quite as much for the incompletion.
Or
so
a
they've
drop
tried
pass.
to put together a bunch.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Or a drop pass.
So they've tried to put some things in there. But I don't know that one's better than the other.
Well, but here's the question. This is very simple. QBR says that Jordan Love was the 5th best quarterback in the NFL last season. The old quarterback rating says 12th. So when Dan Orlovsky says everybody would know that Jordan Love didn't have a step back year last year, when I find out and he sends and gives the QBR top 5, I go, now I get it. This isn't a debate about Jordan Love. This is a debate about QBR. If you believe in QBR and the guy's the 5th best in the league, you know what? He can't have a down. That can't be a down year unless he's whoever you want to say is the greatest quarterback ever. It's Pat Mahomes. I don't know who it would be, right? 5th in the league in anything at a position is good, right?
Yes, I think the difference with Jordan Love in the idea that did he take a step back, I don't know that that's the case. What he didn't have is this 8-week heater that he went on and just inflated his total number or whatever you want. But at the end of his first year at the starter, he was Hall of Fame good for 8 straight weeks.
Yes.
And I don't know if we thought that was what he was going to be for 17 weeks, but he never had that kind of stretch where he just was on fire.
Now,
and so
I do want to mention
that, and we go, he didn't match that, and he certainly didn't match it 8 weeks in a row. There were flashes of that. So, maybe overall, because the team won another game, They lose to the team that was clearly better and end up winning the Super Bowl. Perhaps a different draw comes out differently. I feel like every big team they played that was really good, they lost. That's more of an indication of why I don't know that perhaps you could say, yeah, did he take a step back? Yeah, because I don't think the team won any giant, really important game. I don't know that they had.
And I will
market.
defer to you. You're younger. Your memory's much better. I don't remember any of those losses going, Jordan Love just kicked butt, and they somehow lost.
Yeah. I don't know any of that.
Right.
So he was good. And listen, I think before anything, right, let's have somebody who's consistent. So know I'm going to have the same guy back there for 17 weeks, and I know for sure what I'm going to get. And then if he can pass that and go better some games, great. So I think perhaps he was maybe a touch more consistent than a year ago, but he never got on a heater like he did at the end of the season.
The quarterback rating was 12th, and it's clear to me, Dan Orlovsky, I don't even have to ask because I know he's not going to say that many great things about somebody who was ranked 12th. But if you believe in that stat strongly, and I don't know that he does, but I'll bet he does, then 5th. Dude, shut up. He's 5th.
But you can make the stats do whatever you want.
That's why I ask you.
Churio could hit 390. You're going to go like, he only walked 6 times.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Nice try, though. Right?
Somebody's like, wow, their pass defense is 3rd in the NFL. Right, because they're 32nd in rushing, and nobody's bothering to throw it.
Again,
so you can dance the
but
stats.
That's why you're
you
around here, because people do this, and then we go, all right, Professor, put everything together. If I had to analyze your opinion, it would be, I don't give a damn what the stat is, but if it says he was 5th best in the league, in this situation, it's wrong. I don't know what he was, but he wasn't 5th. Now we can have a discussion as to how he played last year. Did I analyze your opinion well or not?
Yes, I think you've crystallized it as well, because my favorite is in the basketball game and the score is tied, and then they show that Marquette has a 52-14 advantage in the paint. Well, okay, then they're giving up 38 points somewhere else.
Yes.
Yes. The game's tied. So great. They're having a very nice game in the post, and the other team apparently is firing in threes and may want to go guard somebody out there.
And what I want to know is, and we can't get it, what I think the truth is what the coordinators of the teams they're playing are saying. The way they set up their defense tells me what they think about Jordan Love.
Right.
Or the other way around. And we don't get to hear that, but,
We don't know if they're going, listen, just don't let Josh Jacobs beat you. Let Jordan Love try and beat you.
Or when there was Reggie White, it's like, all right, 2 guys on Reggie White. The first thing they talk about is the biggest thing you have to deal with, right?
Yes.
And that, we don't get that, but that's the information I'd love to have. I don't care what anybody says more than the team that's got to figure out what to do, because he's giving us not only that person's ability, but how it compares to the rest of the players. Like if the defensive coordinator says against the Packer receivers, we don't got to double anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm thinking, there isn't anything that special there yet, right?
It's kind of why like I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. He seems to win games, and I like the guys who win, right? Joe Montana had great seasons. His numbers were never off the charts, but Joe Montana won games.
Yeah. All right, we got to do Rainman, then we're going to break for Jason. Do we have Dusty? Right. Is he here? Dusty still here?
He is indeed.
All right, Dusty, you're on Rainman, and it'll be quick. Are you ready to go? What's your resume in 30 seconds or less?
I'm a truck driver.
Well, congratulations. That's a tough job, I think. All right, the first question is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. 15 questions. You ready to go? First one's Marquette.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. He scored 44 points versus Wisconsin in February of 1990.
Pass.
1945, Packers with a regular season record, 57 points against what team?
Pass.
Packers regular season record. Who scored 33 points in a game for the Pack?
Aaron Jones.
Incorrect. Packers regular season second best. He scored 30 points in a game.
Paul Hornung.
Correct. December 5th last season. For the Packers, he scored 18 points against Detroit.
Josh Jacobs.
Correct. On the date a Packer scored 30, the same date a Bears player scored 36. Name him.
Gale Sayers.
Correct. 2 WNBA players with 53 points in a game. Regular season. Name either one.
Lisa Leslie.
Incorrect. 1 of 3 WNBA players with 9 3-point field goals in a regular season game. 1 played at DSHA. Name her.
Pass.
Most points in an NHL career, Wayne Gretzky. Second is how many points behind him? 300, 500, or 900?
500.
Incorrect. Tom Thibodeau, NBA coach for how many teams?
3.
Correct. According to QBR, Jordan Love was ranked how high last season? QBR.
18th.
Incorrect. Who's the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Pass.
What Seattle Mariners hitter has 23 home runs this season?
Pass.
What position does this Seattle Mariner with 23 home runs play?
First base.
Incorrect. Name a pro I have played with in the Pro-Am at the AmFam Senior Golf in Madison, where I'll be tomorrow.
Andy North.
Andy North is incorrect. Clearly not listening earlier. All right.
Sorry, I just got off of work.
I know.
Yeah,
you're a truck
sorry.
driver. I can't believe how you do it and don't fall asleep and get tired. I had 4. How about you, Pebble?
I had 4 as well.
All right, now we'll see how John Anderson does. He scored 44 points against Wisconsin February 1990.
No idea, so I said Dwayne Wade.
Tony Smith.
Your partner. Should have
My
known.
partner.
Home.
1945, Packers, the regular season record, 57 points against what team?
I have no idea, so I said Washington.
Detroit Lions. Packers,
gave up
regular
73
season
one
record.
time.
Who scored 33 points in a game?
I thought that was Paul Hornung.
It is Paul Hornung. And who was second? He scored 30 points in a game.
Paul Hornung.
Paul Hornung. And actually, who was third was Paul Hornung. Josh
Paul
Jacobs,
Hornung.
yes, had 18. Gale Sayers.
Yes.
Paul Hornung
Yeah.
was bitter about that his whole life. I put up 30, and he has to put up 36. No one even knew I played. One of the 2 WNBA players with 53 points in a game. One's playing now.
I guessed to Rossi.
Aja Wilson and Liz Cambridge. I'm not sure. I don't know her. All right. One of 3 WNBA players with 9 3-point field goals in a regular season game. She played at DSHA in Milwaukee.
Agumbawale?
That is correct. Wayne Gretzky, NHL record points. Second is how many behind? 300, 500, or 900?
I thought it was 1,000, so it's 900.
900 is correct. According to QBR, Jordan Love was ranked how high last season?
He was 5th, as
He
I
was
understand.
5th. Who's the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Dano or
Yes, Dagnall.
Dagnall, yeah.
Mark. All right, what
D-A-I-G
Seattle
whatever.
Mariners hitter has 23 home runs?
No clue. I don't even know they have a team.
Raleigh. I'd never heard of him. What position does he play?
Not a major leaguer.
He's a catcher. And again, I've played with John Daly, Ernie Els, and Jerry Pate, who after one hole turned to me and said, "Do you ever shut up?"
Who told you that?
Jerry Pate, yeah. I said, I don't know. I never thought about it. All right, Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
We're still seeing those backups from Marquette Interchange up towards Keefe on 43 North, 43 southbound, seeing slowdowns from Capitol Drive all the way to I-94 southbound past Beecher Street. 94 westbound backups start from South Lane Boulevard through the Stadium Interchange, clear up past Mitchell Boulevard. 94 eastbound, those backups start at 92nd Street to the Stadium Interchange. 41 northbound, seeing backups at West Watertown Plank Road, almost towards Hampton Avenue. Tonight, storms to rain with a low of 56 degrees. Wednesday, morning rain and then partly cloudy cloudy with a high of 64 degrees. Today's weather is brought to you by Tsunami Express Car Wash. Visit any of their 6 locations in the Milwaukee market today. Try your first wash free when you sign up online at tsunamiexpress.com. Wash, chill, repeat. And dedicated to saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors, Mother Nature can be unpredictable. Your roof, siding, and windows shouldn't be. We install peace of mind with transparency and quality guaranteed. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Sean Bruna on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Plug into powerful savings with Zero Wire products at Menards. Zero Wire is an American-owned leading manufacturer of building wire for residential, commercial, and industrial applications. Save time with Menards' convenient pre-cut lengths of wire and cable in stock for all of your indoor and outdoor projects. Hurry in now and save big money on Zero Wire at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Summerfest is almost here, and we're going to send you to all 9 days. It's Summerfest on us. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to bring a friend and have the best summer ever at the big gig. Summerfest on us. Register today in the ESPN Wisconsin app under the contest tab.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Jason Wilde and John Anderson, the professor, talking about the Green Bay Packers. You can't do better than that. And 7-2.5 takes over because he's nice.
So are we have to talk about the Packers? I didn't know that. I didn't know we were like roped into certain topics.
I apologize. As a professor, you can do whatever you want, however you want. But
just want to make sure everything's going all right in the women and the young girls high school track program.
Good
there
point.
For Wilde.
Thank you for asking. The season is over.
Okay.
She had a good showing at regionals, had a PR in both the 800 and in the pole vault, had a good triple jump for not having been coached in that pursuit. And she just got home. Even if she'd have qualified for sectionals, she wouldn't have been able to go because she was in the national gymnastics meet where she finished second in the country in all around. So thank God for Paula's athleticism, because our girls have certainly inherited that from her, because they've both been
Pretty amazing. So thanks for asking, John.
You know who else seems like a really proud dad and really defending his youngster was Matt LaFleur the other day, huh? He is not suffering anybody who would talk about his kids badly.
Yeah, and he and I had some fun, right? He got after me at a line about my being a physical specimen, and I echoed back to that today because I asked about Zach Tom, who, I'm sorry, I still think it's preposterous that they're going through this charade that he's competing for his job. They should be happy that he didn't no-show for the off-season program because he deserves a contract extension, having played through a torn pectoral muscle last year, not being able to build strength in that arm and his chest, and still didn't miss a game. But, Matt LaFleur, and I say this with a great affinity for Matt, and we had some fun at each other's expense. Again, he did make sure he pointed out that he's much more of a physical specimen than I am today, to which I wanted to say, yeah, we all know, Matt. You don't have to say it. But, I don't understand why Jordan Love's injuries are so much more of a crutch for him when we're talking about Jordan Love, and why doesn't Zach Tom get that same treatment, right? I mean, it's hard as hell to play offensive line when you aren't able to bench press from April until the end of the season. So, look, I get what he's doing. I don't want to get caught up in this ridiculous one-word debate about regressing or whatever. I don't have any use for the Dan Orlovsky pushing other people down to push yourself up when you talk about quarterback play. If you think he regressed, you're looking at quarterbacks wrong. Thank you, Dan. The bottom line is that Jordan Love needs to play better if they're going to be a Super Bowl team, and we should all be able to agree on that. And one person that I know agrees on it is Jordan Love. So we don't have to touch him with kid gloves. Just let's see what he does this season. Matt LaFleur clearly does not want to mount, pile on extra pressure on him. That's why he approached that question that way last week. I'm sure he has not enjoyed it being a talking point on Unsportsmanlike and everywhere else all this week. But the bottom line is Jordan Love is a good quarterback. Is he going to take the next step to being very good or excellent or great or MVP caliber? I don't know. That's what really matters. And I don't care what word you want to use to describe last season. The fact of the matter is he didn't play well enough for them to go farther. And if we want to play the semantics game, we can. But he's got to be better this year, whether Matt LaFleur wants to say those words or not.
Well, I just think, too, that if you miss significant time, that adds to you were not as good as last year, right? Like that factors in. It's hard to factor in if you were not in there. Okay, that's part of the performance.
Yeah, and look, he knew. I mean, he did that again because it's deflecting, and I get it. I understand why he does it, but yeah, I understand he's not going to throw for 4,000 yards like he did in his first year because he missed the equivalent of 3 games, 2 full games, and then a half of 2 other games. Also, I don't believe quarterback wins should be a stat, but the Packers' record with him, they won the same number of games that he started as they did the previous year. They won 9. Right? I mean, they did win 2 others that Malik Willis started, and then Malik Willis pulled their pecans out of the fire in Jacksonville too after they tied the game. So, look, I still think Jordan Love is going to be a good to very good quarterback in the league, and yet that doesn't seem to be enough for some people. They want me to anoint him as as Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre 3.0, and we don't have sufficient evidence to be able to say that. But this whole debate, I mean, there was nobody in the league playing quarterback as well as he was for the final 8 games and then the playoff game against Dallas in 2023. No one, including Mahomes. I mean, dude threw 18 touchdowns against 1 pick over the last 8 games. So he was great. And then he went to Dallas and he had a perfect passer rate until LaFleur panicked and put him back in the game, even though they had kind of run the white flag up the flagpole. And so to say that he played, what games do you remember last season where you looked at him and said, that's the Jordan I saw last year? where he played from start to finish like that guy. I don't remember any. Not even the game that they won 34-0 did he play that way. And yes, there were drops. And yes, there were injuries. But I don't think Jordan Love is afraid of expectations. And I don't think Jordan Love is afraid to say that if we're going to get to where we want to go, I have to be on top of my game. And I intend to be on top of my game far more this coming season.
Anything else stuck out of you the last couple of days? Because there's some folks that aren't there that are excused. There's some people we didn't expect to be there and, aren't participating. Is there anything in there that's shaking you up at all?
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Zach Tom today, which was really enlightening. Like he never considered holding out, even though he's in the last year of his contract. He also, I asked him point blank about Adam Stenovich saying that his job was open for competition. And he, like every great right tackle before him, Mark Tauscher, Brian Bulaga, he was ready with an answer. That was the PC, don't create headlines kind of answer. You're always competing in the NFL. That's true, but you should be being talked about getting an extension, not you having to fend off Anthony Belton for the starting right tackle job. I don't think he's in a competition personally. I think as I said to him, you don't strike me as the kind of guy that needs somebody to light a fire under your ass. I don't think he is. I think he's going to play at a high level. I think he's in the discussion among the best right tackles in the league. And so that was enlightening. We talked to Romeo Doubs, who is probably, if not the most challenging guy for me to talk to. He's in the discussion. He didn't want to talk about the concussion thing. Didn't want to talk about what, Rob Domofsky asked him if he regretted how he handled staying away from the team for that couple days when he was unhappy with his role. He didn't want to talk about that, but I kind of turned it around on him and said, look, I understand you don't want to talk about that, but we all have things happen in our lives, right? We make mistakes. And the question is, what do we learn from them? And how do we move forward after them? And what do we do differently? I said, so I don't want to ask if you regret doing that. I want to know what did you learn from that you can use going forward? And he didn't have a great answer to that either. He strikes me as a guy that knows that the smartest thing for him to do this season is to put his head down, don't complain, don't not show up for work, go out there, play at a high level, and that he's going to earn some money, whether it's from the Packers or somebody else, by playing. Because let's be honest about Romeo Doubs. There have been times when he has been their most reliable receiver. Like he is a, I always put him in the James Jones category, where he's not going to get like super open like Devontae Adams does or like Greg Jennings did, but he's going to get open enough that if your quarterback is accurate, like Rodgers and Favre were with James Jones, that on 3rd and 7, he's going to get open enough that you can throw it to him and he's going to come down with the ball and he's going to get a first down for you. And I think that's what Romeo Doubs has been. There's a value to being that guy. No one in that building is ever going to say after what he pulled last year, we're not going to re-sign him, but that's the vibe that I get. So he's playing for a contract here, and he needs to play at a high level, whether that's going to be earning a contract here or elsewhere.
I got a Van Ness question. I think the biggest story of the entire offseason was him saying he was hurt, how much he was hurt, and that means if he was hurt, he might actually have a chance to be good. Professor.
Yeah, I did. I was part of that conversation with him today. We talked to him for about 13 minutes. He talked for a long time. And yeah, the thumb obviously affected him. Again, I'm just curious. I would just like somebody to fill me in on who gets to use injuries as an excuse and who doesn't. But in his case, look, and I said this to him, like, look, I get it. There's expectations with being a first-round pick, especially the 13th overall pick. And if we're being honest about him, I didn't say this part, but he hasn't lived up to those expectations. But if we're going to talk about the thumb injury, we're going to talk about a new defense. Now he's got a new position coach who they seem to be really excited about, who does do things differently. They did a bunch of drills today that were definitely different than what we saw last year. for the past several years with Jason Rebrovich. So maybe this is the light goes on for him in year 3, and he's a super productive dude. But again, I'm taking that on faith and hope if I'm a Packers fan, because I don't have ample evidence to say that he's on the cusp of doing that. But if his thumb was that big of a problem and he couldn't fight with his hands the way he needed to be able to, they also ran him inside some today at defensive tackle in pass rushing situations in 2-minute drill. So maybe he's got some versatility. Maybe the light has gone on. Maybe with a new position coach and a second year in the system, Homer will be right, and he'll have a great season.
Did you at any point think he had that injury or was injury prone to a degree that was affecting his play last season?
No, I knew he had a broken thumb. I mean, he basically has been dealing with a thumb issue both of his years in the league. Like, I don't know exactly if he's just got, he doesn't drink enough milk or what his deal is, but he definitely had the thumb issue last year, and we all knew about it. He was not, but he wasn't on the injury report because it was a lingering thing. He played with a cast the first 2/3 of the season. But look, again, who gets to use that as, and I'm not saying he used it as an excuse, but who gets to point to that and say that's the reason for my limited production, and who has to say, well, no, I just didn't play well enough because I was injured. Like, it seems to be a sliding scale. And in Lucas Van Ness's case, first-round picks don't get a whole lot of grace. They got to deliver. And this is – I keep saying this, and I sound like a broken record, which when I think about that saying, I don't know how many people remember records these days, but I hear they're making a comeback, vinyl. But, like, Love, the 3 offensive linemen who are all in contract years, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, if he's able to get back on the field. Obviously, Rashawn Gary. Like, at what point he talked today, I was not there, I was at somebody else. But, like, the blunt question about him is they paid him like an elite pass rusher. Is he going to be able to be that for them this year? I don't know if that was asked or not. But Lucas Van Ness, in a third year as a first-round pick. Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker. Like, I'm not sure there's been a season that I can remember where there are so many guys at pivotal, crucial, fulcrum points in their careers. And it starts with Love, but he is by no means the only one. And so if they all take off like Goody hopes they do, they're going to have a hell of a year. Because they got to, and as Matt LaFleur said today, they're still a young team, but they're a young team with a ton of experience. And if that experience pays dividends, and these guys all in pivotal years deliver with the kind of seasons that none of them have been able to put together for a full 17-game slate, then we're going to be talking about them playing in the NFC Championship game and having a shot at making the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys, take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. It's hard to think of anything being better than a child being second in a national meet. I can't think of any experience in our family. Do you have a second in a national meet at any age in anything for us, 7.5?
No, I'm trying to tell you that 7.5 isn't that big a deal, and you won't have it. Imagine if I had something second. I wouldn't even utter it, even if I did.
Well, there are various things. You could have been on the baseball team that made it second in Pop or football, Pop Warner, or not Little League. Little League's tough. That's my great story about Gary Sheffield. You can look it up. Gary Sheffield was so good as an 11-year-old, he led his team in Tampa to the Little League World Series championship game, losing to Taiwan when they were dominant. And who was the defensive lineman? Was it something Brown with the Eagles? He died at a young age.
Jerome Brown.
Jerome Brown was on the team as well. They're second in the Little League World Series. Gary Sheffield comes back to his Little League as a 12-year-old, and you know what happened?
No.
They kicked him out of his own league. I didn't get the particulars.
Well, I guess that puts the Green Bay City Championship, Babe Ruth City Championship to shame when I was 14.
You won it?
My team did, National Merchandising Corporation.
Congratulations. How big a role did you have in that? I mean, the 7.5, I know, was all you. I would bet you were a significant contributor to that team.
I was a late inning defensive replacement. I was a bit better the year after that, but I was not part of the core 9 they trotted out there every day.
All right.
They were really good, but I had a good coach.
The
who
professor,
made sure he got some reps.
You will be surprised, sir, at the percentage of people with a Discount Liquor Twitter poll question that Jordan Love picked the 5th best quarterback in the league last year. Do you agree or disagree? Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Back from 43 northbound through Marquette Interchange towards Keefe Avenue. 43 southbound seeing slowdowns from Capitol Drive all the way to I-94 southbound past Beecher Street. I-94 westbound backups start from South Lane Boulevard through the same interchange to Mitchell Boulevard. I-94 eastbound is a turtle crawl from South 92nd Street to the Stadium Interchange. 894 backups begin from Beloit Road to Forest Home Avenue. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging System, your local document imaging partner dedicated to helping businesses do business better. Visit jamesimaging.com. Tonight, storms to rain and a low of 56 degrees. Wednesday, morning rain, then partly cloudy with a high of 64 degrees. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. Easy and affordable apparel personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround for all your printing needs. BigFrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Sean Brinda on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
It's happened again. Another local organization switching to business technology from James Imaging Systems. This time, it's St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care. CFO Sally Parente.
We were unhappy with our previous vendor. It was always a big production. We also had some issues with pricing.
And now with James Imaging Systems?
The service, the value, and the ease with which we can just keep using their service and not having any big headaches. We're getting value here as well.
Just what you'd expect from James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed company. AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation.
I love that they're a local company. They've been a wonderful business partner for St. Anne Center.
Make the switch to James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
The Protect the Package golf outing takes place on August 16 at Ironwood Golf Course. Come be a part of the most unique outing in the state while helping loved ones battle cancer. Proceeds benefit the This Time Tomorrow Foundation. Sign up your foursome at thistimetomorrow.org under the Events tab.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Fisco Auto Body, they're so good. It's a family business. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. I don't give the address enough. How can they be this good? It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. It's still in the family, generation after generation after generation. Imagine how good they are by now. Fisco Auto Body, expert workmanship, guaranteed for the life of your vehicle on Forest Home in Franklin. You'll thank them, and then you'll thank me. I like that too. Fisco. Remember the name. It is the John Anderson Homer Hour. We have the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, QBR. That is the quarterback rating stat created by ESPN. It says Jordan Love was the 5th best quarterback in the NFL last season. Agree or disagree? 35% agree that Jordan Love was the 5th best quarterback in the NFL last season. Take it away, Professor at Missouri, John Anderson.
I'm trying to go look, like, who was in front of him and who was behind him.
In the QBR?
In the QBR.
The guy from the Ravens had incredible numbers.
Yeah, Lamar.
Yeah.
I would buy Lamar. Let me just go by the old QBR here.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson was first, Josh Allen second, Joe Burrow third, Jaden Daniels fourth. Then Goff was 6th, Purdy 7th, Mahomes 8th, Kyler Murray 9th, and Jalen Hurts 10th.
Here's what I noticed. Jared Goff went way down. Baker Mayfield went way down. Jalen Hurts went way down. Jordan Love and Josh Allen and Jaden and Daniels all went way up from the old quarterback rating to QBR. I thought maybe running Josh Allen. So I don't know. You mentioned some of the particulars, but in trying to figure it out, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, huge increases going to QBR. Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, and Justin Herbert all were significantly worse in the QBR. Does that help you at all, Professor?
Well, if you're looking like a zero-sum game, how many touchdowns did you throw? How many interceptions? That's usually the thing, right? Do you score more than you give away?
Right. I think lack of interceptions is huge. Now, I will say this, and I'd ask you about this. To me, if you fumble a lot, that's just as bad as interceptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that fits.
Yeah, you got to take care of the ball. They'll all tell you, right? When do you make your money? You make it on third down, and you make it in the red zone. That's where your quarterbacks make your money. But if you don't want to go into all these advanced analytics and you go, oh, did he throw more touchdowns than interceptions? That's always a good start. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He was 28-11, and he's down there in 25th.
Yes, he didn't do so well. He's 20th in quarterback rating. Caleb Williams stinks in both, 28th and 24th. But I would like to look and see where the fumbles, that lost fumbles, factor in. Because to me, a lost fumble, a quarterback loses a fumble, that's the same as an interception. Could technically even be worse. An interception, you could throw it 30, 40 yards down the field. I don't know how they factor that in.
Listen, you can watch, you can look at all the numbers. They won the same number of games with him, as Jason pointed out. And I don't think he looked and played as well as he did in a lot of games last year. That's simple. Take whatever numbers you are. You just there were times you're like, he didn't play as well.
But I want to ask you this as the next question. I don't think there's much of a chance that he's ever going to have a run like he had the last 8 games? Was it 18 touchdowns and 1 interception? Come on. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're Joe Montana. How many times did he do that? Maybe Rodgers might have done it a couple times. Rodgers might have done it 18-1. What are the percentage chances that you're going to have a drop back after you finish 18-1 in the final half of the last season?
Right. Well, yeah. Why don't you just put on the films and just go, well, just do that.
Yes.
Here's today's coaching practice. Today's coaching. Just do that again.
Yeah. And I don't think, even if Aaron Rodgers had done it once, that I would have thought he could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
The league is too hard, right? That's too good.
It is, and you do wonder, second year, okay, did they get a little smarter about how to defend him or how to defend the Packer receivers? Because I think we've discussed that before. They didn't seem to be as many guys just running free out there, come
on,
in the open.
Professor, I want you to get in touch with some defensive coordinators And they just tell you privately, and then you can use however much you want of it as to how
I can make it public?
Well, yeah, I mean, we won't tell where you got it. This will be the last discussion of where you got your information. You could say you were watching tape.
That was it. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
John
I forget. You have this standard. You have this standard of things that's a little bit higher than mine. I'll steal every second of it and give no one credit if it makes me right and the person doesn't want to be known. As you know, you've dealt with guys, athletes, coaches. They've told you things that you know they would never say publicly, or they can't. It's a neat feeling to have because you feel like you're getting the truth.
Yeah, sometimes. But what I have always found about coaches, and it's the one thing that just bothers me, I've told a bunch of students already, if the coach says to you, have you ever played the game, you've won the argument. Okay? Because if that's their last result of you ever played in the NFL, you're like, I win.
That's the best you got.
If that's your comeback, you're mad. It's like, have you ever played the game? Yeah, no, but baseball people are like, no, but I know how to turn it on.
It always made me feel that I was right.
Yeah,
that's what they have to say.
The other part that I love, and you can attest to this, is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Ketchum. You cannot possibly, you are not smart enough. You have not played the game. You have no football acumen. There's no way you can understand how complicated this is. It is nuclear science. It is rockets. It's the hardest thing ever. And then no matter what happens on Sunday after you win or lose, they go, it's all blocking and tackling. It's like Pop Warner football. I mean, it's that simple. If you can't block and you can't tackle, you can't win. Really? Because Wednesday I was too stupid to understand that the intricacies of the 3-4 defense. It's got to be one of those two. And I'm pretty sure it's the Sunday one.
Yet those are the times when it's said and has been said for multiple years. Fourth quarter next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is back at the Bog. Tune in all day on July 15th for our ESPN Milwaukee crew having fun and hitting the links. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is sponsored by Carbless, Pello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, Fifth Third Bank, Cider Heating, Plumbing and Electrical, Gruber Law Offices, Welke's Milwaukee Florist, and Jet Out. Join in on the fun July 15th on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
There are plenty of you out there that are saying this is not the finals that we wanted, but it's going to be the best finals for you because it involves the two best teams in terms of playing basketball in the NBA since January. The Indiana Pacers on one side and the Oklahoma City Thunder on the other side. Both of these teams, Thunder 1, Pacers 2, have had the best records in the NBA since January 1st. So it should be logical that we have these two teams playing for an NBA championship and both of these franchises trying to win their first ever NBA championship. But it's also going to be a referendum when it comes to ring chasing. It's not the chase involving the chase for an NBA championship. Look how the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder got to this point. Not just homegrown drafted players, but making the right trades. Tyrese Halliburton when it comes to the Pacers, and of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander when it comes to Oklahoma City Thunder. So if you don't want to tune in, you're going to be missing out because this is the future of the NBA, and that's a good future indeed. In 60 seconds, now what should not be the question involving Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
The supposed easy question should be, okay, now what for the New York Knicks after they had a chance to go further than they did last year and they fell short in the NBA Conference Finals, losing 6 games to the Indiana Pacers? Because the easy question is, now what for New York? And a lot of that is centered on Tom Thibodeau, the head coach. To me, that's not the right question. The right question would be, what now regarding Tom Thibodeau and what he's going to do going forward? Because in my opinion, if they don't get to the NBA Finals, or worse, the Conference Finals next year, the New York Knicks will be looking for a new head coach, because sometimes a good voice is good enough, but not great enough for what you need to get to and where you need to be involving NBA championship, something the Knicks have not accomplished since 1973. So it's easy to look at the faults of Tom Thibodeau, but this Knicks organization has the right guy at least for one more year, but he better get at least to the NBA Finals. Even Tom Thibodeau knows that, and the Knicks organization better help him, or maybe now what will be what now for the Knicks next year. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
2 Wisconsin icons are teaming up on a reworked classic. Cousin Subs and U-Zingers are proud to introduce the all-new fried bologna sub, featuring U-Zingers fried bologna, bacon, American cheese, onions, pickles, mayo, and mustard on fresh-baked Italian bread. And that's not all. Pair your fried bologna with a creamy cupcake shake topped with whipped cream and rainbow sprinkles. Now that's a better combination. Order both in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tune into Behind the Bucks podcast on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks brings you exclusive access and untold stories about the greatest stars and moments in Bucks history. Go behind the scenes of Giannis' Emmy-nominated documentary. Learn about Dame's journey to becoming a top 75 player, and hear about the true origins of Bucks and Six culture. Find Behind the Bucks on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. Always worried that there was something that 7-2.5 wanted to mention. I didn't get to it. I don't know if it's salt. I don't know if it's sugar. I don't know what sports, given how busy you are now. Do you follow the golf, or why do you follow? I mean, you're always curious about the Brewers. You're one of their most loyal fans.
I was in Philly over the weekend. Didn't get to see the games because I was working. But I had a sweatshirt I was wearing that was a Mizzou sweatshirt, and then after the Brewers won the first game and then won 17 to whatever it was, I just wore my Brewers sweatshirt everywhere and got great looks from people in Philly like, hey, you guys are playing great. Now get the hell out of here so we can win a game. So that was great fun, and I was tracked over the weekend, man. Keep an eye on Kenny. He's the fastest man in the world right now. He is killing it this spring. He's going to be the world champ. You heard it here first.
And will you be there to watch it when he is the world champ?
I will not be in Tokyo for the World Championships. It's in September. I'm not going to be able to fit that in the schedule.
You can't talk to your peeps at Missouri?
All right. Not for that.
Okay. Can they fire Thibodeau after he has a great year? I say you got to give the guy 1 year, unless Malone's available. If you can hire Malone, then I would. It's weird, isn't it?
You could, but he takes a lot of tread off guys, man. He's got a shelf life, so I'm not surprised. I think that he's probably one of those. Well, I am surprised, but it doesn't shock me that after 5 years somebody's like, "Yep, okay, we love you."
If it was going to happen to a coach like this, you would have guessed him, right?
Yeah, but I just say that just adds that to the long list of people I think that should be coaching the Bucks. Nicely done. 7-2.5. It's still special. On the tee next.
Traffic is starting to clear up.